Hey guys, Rob here again with supplementcritique.com, and in today's review we're going to be talking about a product called Hardon Helper. If you haven't guessed it from the name of the product, it's a supplement that's designed to help improve sexual function and control and basically get you hard and keep you hard. As always, I'm going to talk a little bit about who makes this stuff, the ingredients, all that kind of fun stuff before I jump into my personal results. But if you'd like to skip ahead to my review, you could just click on the link in the description box below. It'll take you to my website, supplementcritique.com, where I go into my personal results with this particular supplement. So anyway, Hardon Helper is a product that was developed by a gentleman named Dr. Seltzer. He developed the product way back in the day called Hangover Helper, which, as you may have guessed, was supposed to help with hangovers. He sold a ton of this product back in the early 1980s, and I believe he ended up selling it off to a company located in Boca Raton, Florida, for a whole bunch of money. And after this, he ended up retiring to South America, I believe, to pursue his main interests, which apparently was women. While he was there, he started noticing that he was having issues down there, and he started to experiment with various types of herbal remedies, smoked all sorts of stuff, and he even worked with a couple of local herbalists to develop some sort of a remedy that would actually help with getting him hard again. And this is apparently how Hardon Helper was born. If you take a look at the ingredients label here, you'll notice that it's pretty substantially different from most of the other fast-acting pills out there. Normally, you'll see things like L-arginine, yohimbe, ginkgo biloba, catuaba bark extract. But in this case, the only ingredients that are actually relatively familiar, to me at least, are epimedium, red ginseng, American ginseng, and wild yam. Almost all of these other ingredients are completely new to me, and I'm not going to really go into any kind of details about exactly how each of them work. It's sort of boring, but I do have all this info on my site, so just check it out there if you're interested in it. The one thing that actually caught my eye about this product is that they actually show the exact amounts of each ingredient on their website. This is actually really unusual. Most companies hide behind what's known as a proprietary formula, which is really just a fancy way of saying, we're not going to tell you exactly what we're putting in this stuff. So anyway, as far as my personal results, if you've been following my videos for any length of time, you know that I've tested out dozens of these so-called male enhancement pills. Some of them have worked fairly well. Most of them didn't really do anything. And some of them worked really well, but gave me some of the worst side effects that you could possibly imagine. For example, I tried out a pill called Rhino 8 not too long ago, and it actually worked really well. It gave me a massive boner. I could definitely have sex for hours, it felt like. And it even felt like it lasted for a couple of days. If you look at the label here, they categorically state that there's no headache. But do you want to know what the actual worst thing about Rhino 8 was? It was the headaches. When I was originally contacted by the guys over at Hardon Helper, they actually asked me if they could send over some samples for testing. I said, sure, why not? Send them over, and I'll see if I can get around to testing it out. Mind you, if you look at the front of their label, it says no headaches pretty prominently in the upper right-hand corner here. As you can probably imagine, I was a little kind of hesitant, to even think about trying this product out based on my previous results. I ended up getting a box of 24 pills, I think it was, from them a couple days later, and I kind of just threw it on top of my boxes of supplements. I get a ton of supplements sent to me. I probably get anywhere between 2, maybe 3 requests per day. And in most cases, I really don't get a chance to even test them because they're just, there's only a couple of us here and there's only so many supplements that we can test. I mentioned in a previous review, probably about a month ago, I've been having some erection issues lately. I would probably attribute this to the fact that my testosterone levels seem to have sort of taken a pretty massive hit this year. When I had them checked back in 2014, my free testosterone levels clocked in at somewhere around 15.8 picograms per milliliters. I was about 32, maybe 32 and a half at that point. And at the time, that was actually on the higher end of the spectrum. So if you fast forward to this last October, a month and a half ago or so, they'd actually fallen to 12.7 picograms per milliliter, which is almost a 20% drop. I think it's 19.6%. I don't think I have to explain to you that that's a pretty substantial impact on my overall sex drive, and it's sort of been kind of a pain in the ass recently. So anyways, the pills basically sat on my big boxes of supplements here collecting dust for maybe like 3 or 4 weeks. I said the hell of it one day. I just decided to pop one of them. I actually didn't really think anything of it for like the rest of the day. I hit up the gym for like maybe a afternoon workout or so, and then almost literally out of nowhere it kind of hit me. I was like right in the middle of doing squats, and right as I was finishing up like maybe my third or fourth set, I started to get this massive boner, and I'm talking massive boner. It just kind of came out of nowhere, and I kind of had to do this like stealthily ninja-like tuck in the top of my shorts. I kind of like turned away from the gym so that nobody would see me doing it. It was actually a little embarrassing, but it started to go away after a couple of minutes. But then I was on my way home, probably about 5 minutes into my drive, and I was just kind of thinking about this hot chick that I saw at the gym, and in literally what felt like seconds, it was like boom, I got another like massive erection. I got home like, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes later or so. Went straight to my office and I just rubbed one out as fast as I could. I will definitely say with 120% certainty that this was probably one of the most massive erections and orgasms that I've had in probably close to a year. A couple hours later, my wife gets home from the gym and she just comes walking in. She's looking real sexy in her yoga pants and she's got this like tight tank top on, and it just kind of hits me again. I get this massive boner. I'm not going to go into the details, but obviously, I can assure you that it ended very well. So one of the things that they mention on the directions label here is that it lasts for days. This wasn't actually the case for me. I would say realistically, it probably lasted for maybe a day, day and a half tops. I would probably attribute this to my metabolism and also to the fact that I drink a lot of water every day, probably about a gallon or so. So, it may have got washed out of my system quicker than maybe what it's supposed to. As far as where to buy, as of this review, I think it's available in some Adam and Eve shops. Those are like sex stores. I think just in the Jacksonville, Florida area. I guess they have plans on maybe getting it in other stores, but that's where they're starting off for now. You could also find it on their website, which I'll put a link to in the description box below. A one pill package costs about $10, so it's a little expensive on a per pill basis. But of course, just like with most other supplements, if you order larger quantities, they're going to give you a bigger discount. All in all, I would say that this is literally one of the best fast-acting pills I've ever used. I've been recommending Extends for the longest time. A lot of guys have some issues with the yohimbe content in Extends. If they have a heart condition or something like that, they can't take anything with stimulants in it, and because yohimbe is a stimulant, they can't take that stuff. Like I mentioned earlier, I've tested dozens of these fast-acting pills. Really, the only ones that ended up working were the ones that contained some sort of illegal ingredient in them. They would work really well, but I would get like the worst headaches from them and all sorts of other like side effects that more or less, kind of didn't make worth using. This was definitely not the case with Hardon Helper. It gave me a great erection. There was no side effects at all, and it's definitely worth giving it a try if you've been having any kind of problems in this area. That's pretty much all I have for Hardon Helper. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments section below, or you can send me an email to contact@supplementcritique.com, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. And I'll be back soon with another review. Take care.